Have you ever wondered why some men are ignored no matter how nice they are, while others seem to attract attention without even trying? Before we begin, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and make sure you watch until the end, because what you're about to hear could completely change the way you understand attraction, confidence, and power in relationships and life itself. Niccolò Machiavelli believed something most people are too uncomfortable to accept. Human beings are not primarily drawn to goodness. They are drawn to strength, but not loud strength, not arrogance, not dominance for the sake of ego. They are drawn to controlled strength, the kind of presence that feels grounded, stable, and unshakable. The kind of man who doesn't beg to be chosen because he already chose himself. Now imagine two men again, but deeper this time. The first man lives in constant emotional reaction. Every message he receives controls his mood. Every opinion of others shapes his identity. He confuses being liked with being valued. So he becomes agreeable, even when it hurts him. He fears conflict so much that he slowly erases his own boundaries just to keep temporary peace. He believes love is something you earn by sacrificing yourself. The second man understands something different. He listens, but he doesn't absorb everything. He cares, but he is not dependent. He enjoys connection, but he is not emotionally enslaved by it. He has direction in life, and he does not abandon himself to be accepted. This difference may seem small on the surface, but psychologically, it changes everything. Because attraction is not just about appearance or words. It is about energy hierarchy. Who leads emotionally? Who follows? Who needs? Who chooses? And Machiavelli understood this long before modern psychology confirmed it. There was once a young man who believed love was a matter of effort. He thought if he gave enough time, attention, and kindness, people would naturally value him. So he overgave. He overexplained. He overapologized. He made himself available at all hours, believing consistency would create love. But instead, he slowly noticed something painful. The more he gave without boundaries, the less he was respected. The more he tried to prove himself, the more invisible he became. And the more he needed validation, the more distant people grew. Then came the moment that broke him. The person he cared about most looked at him and said, "You're a good person, but I don't feel anything." Not anger, not hatred, indifference. And indifference is what destroys illusion. That was the moment everything collapsed inside him, because he realized something terrifying. Being good was not enough. Not because goodness has no value, but because unbalanced goodness without strength becomes weakness, and weakness does not create attraction. It creates comfort at best, and forgettability at worst. So he started searching for answers, and eventually found Machiavelli. At first, it felt harsh, even disturbing. Machiavelli described human behavior in a way most people deny but secretly recognize. He suggested that people respect strength more than kindness when kindness lacks backbone. He implied that emotional independence is more powerful than emotional availability. He revealed that mystery creates value, while overexposure destroys it. And slowly, the young man began to understand. His problem was not kindness. It was dependence, disguised as kindness. He was kind because he feared rejection. He was agreeable because he feared conflict. He was available because he feared abandonment, and fear-driven behavior always creates imbalance. So he changed, not into a cold person, but into a centered one. He stopped over-explaining himself, stopped chasing people who were inconsistent, stopped trying to win approval from those who gave none. Instead, he began rebuilding his identity from within. He trained his discipline, strengthened his habits, learned emotional control, learned silence when needed, learned the power of stepping back instead of chasing forward. And what happened next revealed something powerful about human nature. People responded differently to him, not because he became richer, louder, or more impressive, but because he stopped leaking neediness. Neediness is emotional noise. and humans instinctively step away from emotional noise. Machiavelli understood a principle that still governs attraction today. The less available something is emotionally, the more value it gains in perception. This is not manipulation, it is psychology. When a man is always available, always agreeable, always predictable, his presence becomes background energy. But when a man has boundaries, direction, and emotional stability, his presence becomes structured energy, and structured energy commands attention. Now here is where most people misunderstand everything. They think this means becoming cold, distant, or manipulative. But that is a mistake. Coldness is not strength. It is emotional avoidance. Manipulation is not power, it is insecurity disguised as strategy. Real strength is something else entirely. It is the ability to feel deeply, without being controlled by what you feel. It is the ability to care, without losing yourself. It is the ability to love, without dependence. That is the monster Machiavelli indirectly describes. Not a man who destroys others, but a man who has tamed his own internal chaos, because every human being has chaos inside them. Impulse, desire, fear, ego, attachment. Most people are ruled by it, but a disciplined man observes it, understands it, and chooses not to be controlled by it. And that is what creates presence. Presence is not loud. Presence is stable. It is the feeling that this person will not fall apart emotionally when things get difficult. And that feeling is deeply attractive, because subconsciously people are always searching for emotional safety. But here is the paradox. Emotional safety does not come from emotional weakness. It comes from emotional strength. A man who collapses under pressure cannot provide safety, but a man who remains steady under pressure can. The young man eventually realized that attraction was never about chasing. It was about alignment. When your life is built around chasing validation, your identity becomes unstable. People feel that instability. They may not consciously understand it, but they sense it. But when your life is built around purpose, discipline, and self-respect, your identity becomes stable. And stability naturally draws attention, because stability is rare, and anything rare becomes valuable. Machiavelli once wrote that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But the deeper meaning often missed is this. Respect is the foundation of attraction, not fear or blind love, and respect is earned through consistency, control, and self-mastery, not through begging, not through overgiving, not through emotional dependence. The young man finally understood that he had spent years trying to be chosen by others, while neglecting to choose himself, and that was the real transformation. Not becoming someone else, but becoming someone who no longer abandons himself for acceptance. Because once you stop abandoning yourself, people stop abandoning your value in their perception, and slowly everything changes, not because the world changes first, but because you do. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.